Have you ever found yourself truly pondering what life looks like after 80? We often see the beautiful stories, the vibrant centenarians dancing or running marathons, and the inspiring tales of enduring spirit that fill us with hope. But what about the less talked about aspects, the parts that aren't always picture perfect on a greeting card or featured in a feel-good news segment? The truth is, while reaching 80 and beyond is an immense blessing and a testament to a life lived, it also comes with its own set of profound challenges that can feel isolating and overwhelming if we aren't prepared. It's not just about a few more aches or a bit less speed. It's about navigating a world that fundamentally shifts around you, sometimes in ways you never anticipated. Many of these shifts are rarely discussed openly, yet understanding them can be the key to not just surviving, but truly thriving. In your 9th decade and beyond, in this video, we're going to bravely explore 6 harsh realities of life after 80, not to scare you or bring you down, but to empower you with knowledge and strategies that can transform your experience. We'll delve into the physical changes, the social landscape, and the emotional journey that often accompanies this profound stage of life. Stay with me until the very end, because I promise there's a vital truth waiting for you. A perspective shift that could truly surprise you and change how you view your future. So, let's dive right into these realities, starting with one that touches us all at a very personal level, and that's the evolving relationship we have with our own bodies. As we cross the threshold into our 80s, even if we've been incredibly active and healthy, the body simply doesn't do what it used to. This isn't a sudden, dramatic change, but rather a cumulative effect of decades of living. Things that were once easy, like perhaps carrying a heavy basket of laundry up the stairs, getting up from a low chair without a second thought, or reaching for that top shelf in the kitchen, can become challenging, or even feel impossible. You might notice a diminishing stamina, where a walk around the block that used to energize you now leaves you feeling utterly drained. Strength seems to ebb away, making it harder to open jars or lift grandchildren. Balance can become a constant concern, turning a simple step off a curb into a moment of anxiety. Vision might dim further. Hearing could become less sharp, making conversations a little more difficult to follow in a noisy room. This reality is harsh because it slowly erodes a piece of our independence, the ability to move through the world with the same ease and confidence we once possessed. It can lead to feelings of profound frustration, a quiet grief for what was, and sometimes a sense of vulnerability or a growing dependence on others. Imagine someone like Margaret, who was always fiercely independent. She loved her garden, spent hours tending to her roses and vegetables. But in her early 80s, bending and kneeling became incredibly painful. The heavy bags of compost were impossible to lift, and the sheer effort of keeping up with weeds felt overwhelming. For a while, she felt a deep sadness, a sense of loss for a part of her identity. This isn't about resignation, but about adaptation and acceptance. For Margaret, this meant acknowledging the grief for what she could no longer do, but then shifting her focus to what she could. She invested in raised garden beds, making it easier to tend without bending. She accepted help from her grandson to spread the compost, transforming it into a shared activity. She discovered new joy in pruning the roses while seated, focusing on their beauty rather than the laborious tasks. It's about finding creative ways to continue enjoying life's passions, even if it means doing them differently, or letting go of the need to do everything yourself. This might involve using adaptive tools like grab bars in the bathroom, a shower chair, or a long-handled reacher for objects out of reach. It also means prioritizing safety in your home, making small modifications that prevent falls, gentle exercise, adapted to your current capabilities, like chair yoga, water aerobics, or simply walking within your limits, can help maintain strength and mobility for as long as possible. Good nutrition, 2, becomes even more critical for supporting bone health and energy levels. And crucially, it's about having open conversations with your doctor about pain management and any new physical limitations. Seeking solutions rather than simply enduring discomfort. The mental game here is powerful. Accepting help isn't a sign of weakness, but a wise way to extend your capabilities and preserve your energy for what truly matters. As our bodies subtly shift and change, so too does the world around us. And this brings us to our second significant reality, the profound social isolation that can arise from the inevitable loss of peers. As people reach their 80s and beyond, the unfortunate and deeply painful truth is that friends, siblings, and even lifelong partners pass away. Your social circles, which once felt vibrant and sprawling, inevitably begin to shrink. The familiar faces at your bridge club, the voices on the other end of the phone that knew your entire history, the people you shared countless holidays and milestones with, they may no longer be there. Adult children, while loving, often have their own busy lives, families, and careers, and can't always fill that void. The world can feel quieter, lonelier, and the silence in your home can become deafening. Holiday gatherings might feel emptier, missing those familiar laughs and stories. It's a harsh reality because it's not just about missing individuals. It's about missing shared history, shared jokes, unspoken understandings, and the profound comfort of deep, long-standing connections. It can lead to feelings of profound loneliness, a quiet, constant ache, and the unsettling experience of being one of the last ones standing. Imagine John, a widower who, after losing his wife and his closest 3 friends within a few years, found himself spending most of his days alone. His children called regularly, but he missed the spontaneity of popping over to a friend's house for a cup of tea or having someone understand an inside joke from 60 years ago. He felt invisible, untethered. This reality isn't about not needing friends. It's about the painful reality of losing them and then finding new ways to connect and rebuild, even if it feels daunting. The strategy here is proactive engagement. It means making a conscious effort to reach out to the remaining friends you have, even if it's just a phone call. More importantly, it's about building new connections, which can feel like starting from scratch, but is deeply rewarding. This could mean joining a community center, a senior group, a local library program, or even online interest groups if you're comfortable with technology. Volunteering, even for just a few hours a week, can put you in touch with like-minded people and give you a renewed sense of purpose. Intergenerational connections can be incredibly enriching, perhaps mentoring younger people, or simply spending more intentional time with grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Technology, while sometimes frustrating, can be a lifeline. Video calls with family who live far away can bridge distances. Some people find immense comfort and companionship in adopting a pet, which provides not only affection, but also a routine and a reason to get out for walks, often leading to incidental social interaction. For John, it was a reluctant suggestion from his daughter to try a local men's social group at the community center. He went, feeling awkward, but discovered a few men who loved discussing history, just like he did. Slowly, tentatively, new friendships began to bloom, not replacing the old, but adding new layers of companionship and laughter to his life. It's about being open to new types of relationships, even if they don't replicate the depth of decades-long bonds, and finding meaning in simply being present with others, moving on from the physical and social landscapes. Our emotional world also undergoes significant shifts as we step into our 80s, bringing us to a reality that touches the very core of our being, dealing with persistent and cumulative grief and loss. This reality goes beyond just the shrinking social circle we just discussed. It encompasses the profound, cumulative weight of loss that becomes an increasingly frequent part of life. The loss of a spouse, siblings who were your first companions, lifelong friends with whom you shared every turning point, and even beloved pets who were loyal companions for years. It's the loss of shared memories, a future you envisioned together, and the very fabric of one's past. Each departure chips away at your personal history, leaving fewer and fewer people who truly knew you in your prime, who remember the stories, the inside jokes, the struggles, and the triumphs that shaped your life. It's also often accompanied by a quiet grief for one's former self, the younger, more capable, more vibrant person you once were. This isn't just about isolated instances of sadness. It's about grief becoming a more constant companion, a background hum in your daily life. The impact of this can be profound waves of profound sadness that come out of nowhere, a deep and unsettling loneliness, and often, a questioning of your own identity when so many who defined your world are gone. There can be a heavy feeling of being the last one standing, observing the world from a place that feels increasingly isolated. Imagine Eleanor, who, in her late 80s, found herself the sole survivor of her immediate family and her core group of friends from her youth. Every birthday, every holiday, every memory seemed to bring a fresh pang of loss. She felt overwhelmed by the sheer volume of grief, wondering if she would ever feel lighthearted again. The harshness here lies in the relentlessness of it, the feeling that the losses just keep coming. The understanding and coping strategies for this reality center on acknowledging that grief isn't a one-time event with a clear endpoint, but a continuous process, a journey with no fixed map. It's crucial to allow yourself to feel it. Don't bottle up your emotions or pretend to be strong if you're hurting. Find healthy outlets for these feelings, talking to trusted family members or friends who are willing to listen without judgment. Joining a grief support group where shared experiences normalize your feelings. Or expressing yourself through journaling, art, or even music. Commemorating loved ones can be a powerful way to process grief and keep their memory alive. This could be creating a photo album, sharing stories about them with younger generations, or creating new rituals to honor their lives. Eleanor, for instance, started a project collecting old family photographs and writing down the stories associated with each person. It was painful at times, but it also became a profound act of remembrance, turning her grief into a legacy project that gave her a new sense of purpose and connection. It's about accepting that it's okay to still feel joy and find moments of laughter amidst the grief, and that these don't diminish the love or the loss. Self-compassion is key here. Be kind to yourself as you navigate these incredibly difficult waters. As we navigate these deep emotional waters, we also encounter a reality that can be particularly unsettling because it touches our sense of self and our connection to the world around us, cognitive changes, and memory lapses. This isn't necessarily about developing dementia, which is a specific disease, but rather the normal aging process that often brings subtle shifts in our cognitive abilities. You might notice slower processing speed, needing a little more time to grasp new information or make decisions. There might be more frequent instances of the tip of the tongue phenomenon, where you know a word or a name but just can't quite retrieve it. Remembering new information, like where you put your keys or a new acquaintance's name, might take more effort and repetition. Multitasking, which might have been second nature in your younger years, can become a real challenge. This reality can be harsh because it can lead to frustration, anxiety, and even fear of losing one's mind, impacting confidence in daily tasks like managing appointments, remembering medications, or following complex instructions. Imagine Robert, who had always prided himself on his sharp memory and quick wit. In his early 80s, he found himself forgetting appointments, misplacing items frequently, and struggling to recall details from recent conversations. He started to withdraw, fearing he was losing his intellectual edge and that people would notice his struggles. The understanding here is that many of these changes are a normal part of aging, not a sign of inevitable decline. And differentiating between normal aging and more serious cognitive impairment is crucial. The coping strategies focus on brain health and adaptation. Firstly, maintaining brain stimulation is incredibly important. This means engaging in activities that challenge your mind puzzles, learning a new skill, even something simple like knitting or a new card game, reading widely, or staying engaged in intellectually stimulating conversations. Secondly, staying socially engaged, as we discussed, is a powerful brain booster. Third, physical activity, even gentle movement, has a profound positive impact on brain health and blood flow. Fourth, a healthy diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and healthy fats can support cognitive function. Fifth, prioritizing good sleep and managing stress are also vital for brain health. Lastly, and very practically, using memory aids can dramatically reduce frustration. This includes using calendars, making lists, setting reminders on your phone or smart device, establishing routines for frequently misplaced items like keys or glasses, and writing things down immediately. For Robert, seeking reassurance from his doctor that his memory lapses were mostly age-related, and then embracing strategies like using a larger calendar, setting phone alarms for medications, and dedicating time to learning a new language online, even if slowly, helped him regain confidence. He learned to laugh at his senior moments and focus on the vast store of wisdom and experience he still possessed. It's about patience with oneself and focusing on retained abilities rather than perceived deficits. And while our minds and bodies are changing, so too can the practicalities of our lives, leading us to consider another significant reality, one that often brings with it its own set of anxieties, financial vulnerability, and the escalating costs of healthcare. Many people enter their 80s having diligently planned for retirement, confident in their savings and pensions. However, the harsh reality is that unexpected healthcare costs, rising inflation, and the sheer longevity of life can strain even the most robust financial plans. A sudden illness requiring extensive care, the need for long-term care support at home or in a facility, or unexpected emergencies like a home repair can quickly deplete savings that were meant to last a lifetime. Pension gaps might become more apparent, and fixed incomes may not keep pace with the rising cost of living. This can lead to a pervasive feeling of financial precariousness, or the heavy burden of worrying about future costs, not just for oneself but potentially for loved ones who might be impacted. The impact can be immense chronic stress and anxiety about the future, a reluctance to seek necessary medical care due to fear of cost, and the potential loss of assets that were painstakingly accumulated over decades. Imagine Doris, who had always been prudent with her money, lived modestly, and had a comfortable nest egg, but a sudden fall and subsequent long rehabilitation exhausted a significant portion of her savings, and she worried constantly about running out of money before the end of her life, or becoming a burden to her children. The understanding and coping strategies for this reality center on proactive planning, realistic expectations, and open communication. It's crucial to regularly review your finances, ideally with a trusted financial advisor who specializes in elder care planning, to understand your current situation and project future needs. This includes understanding all government benefits and entitlements you might be eligible for. Many seniors overlook programs that could significantly ease their burden. Exploring long-term care insurance, if appropriate and still accessible, or understanding alternative care models, is vital. Creating a realistic budget that accounts for potential healthcare costs is essential, even if it means adjusting your lifestyle expectations. For some, downsizing their home to reduce expenses or unlock equity might be a difficult but necessary decision. It's also incredibly important to have open and honest discussions with your adult children or other trusted family members about your financial situation and wishes. This isn't about asking them for money, but about transparency and planning together. Lastly, being acutely aware of and understanding how to avoid financial scams targeting seniors is paramount, as these can swiftly wipe out a lifetime of savings. Doris, for example, worked with her son to outline her remaining assets and explore different care options. They discovered a few government programs she qualified for, which, while not solving everything, significantly reduced her daily anxiety and allowed her to focus on her recovery. It's about making peace with what is and bravely adjusting your expectations to align with your resources, ensuring dignity and security for as long as possible. Having explored these fundamental realities that shape life after 80, there's one more crucial aspect that often emerges, one that touches on the very essence of why we're here and what gives our days meaning: questioning purpose and meaning. For most of our lives, purpose is often defined by external roles, our careers, raising children, volunteering, caring for aging parents. But as we enter our 80s, careers have long since ended. Children are grown and living their own independent lives, and physical capabilities shift dramatically, limiting the active roles we once played. Many find themselves grappling with the profound question, what now? The routines and identities that once defined them are gone, leaving a void. There can be a sense of being done or a struggle to find new reasons to get up in the morning. Beyond simply existing, this can be a harsh reality because it can lead to feelings of apathy, a lack of motivation, a deep sense of uselessness, or even existential angst. Imagine Frank, who was a driven businessman his entire life. Retirement at 65 was a shock, but he filled his days with golf and travel. Now, in his late 80s, golf is too strenuous, travel too difficult, and his wife has passed. He sits in his armchair, feeling adrift, wondering what his purpose is anymore beyond watching television. He felt like his story was over. The understanding here is that this isn't an ending, but a profound opportunity for redefinition. Purpose in your 80s might look very different from purpose in your 30s or 60s, but it is no less vital or meaningful. The coping strategies involve embracing new avenues for meaning and cultivating inner growth. This could mean delving into new hobbies you never had time for before, or revisiting old passions that bring you joy. Even if adapted, volunteering, even if it's just making phone calls to other seniors or writing letters, can provide a powerful connection to community and a sense of contribution. Mentoring younger generations, sharing your vast wisdom and life experience, can be incredibly fulfilling and leave a lasting legacy. Learning something new, whether it's history, a musical instrument, or simply exploring a new topic online, keeps the mind engaged and curious. Cultivating spiritual growth through prayer, meditation, or connection with nature can provide deep inner peace and a sense of connection to something larger than oneself. Focusing on your legacy, not just financial, but the legacy of your values, your stories, and your wisdom can be a powerful motivator. For Frank, it was his granddaughter, a history student, who sparked a change. She asked him to tell her stories of his life, his family's history, and his experiences during various historical events. Initially hesitant, he soon found immense joy in recounting his past, preserving it for future generations, and seeing the impact his stories had on her. He realized his purpose had shifted from building a business to building a legacy of wisdom and connection. Purpose in your 80s isn't always about grand achievements. Sometimes, it's about presence, about being a source of comfort, wisdom, and love for those around you, simply for who you are, not for what you do. It's about finding profound satisfaction in quiet moments, in connecting with nature, or in the simple act of being. We've delved into these profound realities that shape life after 80, the evolving relationship with our physical selves, the shifting social landscape as loved ones depart, the ever-present journey of grief and cumulative loss, the fascinating and sometimes frustrating changes in our minds, the practicalities of financial navigation in an unpredictable world, and the beautiful, ongoing quest for renewed purpose. It might sound like a lot, and indeed it is, but understanding these realities isn't about succumbing to fear. It's about foresight and empowerment. It's about recognizing that this stage of life, just like any other, has its unique challenges, but also its unique joys. its quiet victories, and profound opportunities for growth and redefinition. Remember, small adjustments in perspective, a willingness to adapt, and a generous dose of self-compassion can make a monumental difference in how you experience these years. You are not alone in navigating this path, and every single day offers a chance to live richly, to find new connections, to cultivate peace, and to discover renewed meaning. I'd truly love to hear your thoughts on this. What realities have you encountered that have surprised you as you've moved into or contemplated life after 80? What strategies have you found helpful in navigating these aspects of life? Share your wisdom and experiences in the comments below. Your insights and stories can be a beacon of hope and practical guidance for so many others who might be quietly facing similar challenges. If this conversation resonated with you, if it offered a new perspective or a moment of reflection, please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us reach more people who could benefit from these discussions. And for more honest, heartfelt conversations about living your best life at every age, consider subscribing to the channel and ringing that notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. Life after 80 is a remarkable testament to resilience, to wisdom, and to the enduring human spirit. Embrace each day, find joy in the unexpected, and remember that your journey, with all its complexities and beauty, is a masterpiece in the making. Live your best life, every single moment of it,